Okay, so what if you could just get rid of all the noise, the hot takes, the gut feelings, all of it, and just use pure math to predict who's going to win the NFL playoffs? Well, someone out there claims they've actually done it. They've built a system that tries to turn all the chaos of the football field into cold, hard, predictable code. So let's dive in and see how this thing supposedly works and if it can actually stand up to the pressure.
And look, we're not talking about a 50-50 coin flip here. We are looking at a system that, for a whole decade, was hitting at a staggering 90% success rate. We're talking about predicting the winner of the Super Bowl, only one of the biggest and most unpredictable sporting events on the entire planet.
And this is the claim that really gets your attention, right? The person behind all this just lays it on the line with that statement. Predicting 9 out of 10 Super Bowls? I mean, that's the kind of track record that makes you lean in a little closer.
But you know how it goes. Even the best streaks have to end. Last year, it finally happened. The algorithm picked the Chiefs, but the Chiefs didn't win. So that amazing 9-1 record suddenly slipped to 9-2. And for most people, that would pretty much be the end of the story.
But this is where things get really, really interesting. The creator of this system didn't see the loss as a failure at all. In fact, they framed it as a win. Now, how on earth is that possible? How does getting a prediction dead wrong actually make your system better? Well, it's because that one loss wasn't just a failure. It was a crucial piece of data. It gave them exactly what they needed to tear the whole model apart, find its blind spot, and then rebuild it from the ground up to be even smarter. You can really see the whole journey of this thing right here. It all starts with a decade of just incredible success. Then, bam, the inevitable loss happens. But instead of just throwing in the towel, the creator went back to the drawing board. They started reverse engineering the problem, digging through years and years of stats to figure out why it failed. And the result? It wasn't just one new and improved algorithm, but a whole new set of them, each one custom-built for a specific round of the playoffs.
So the big question is, what's actually under the hood? How does this thing really work? Well, the exact formula is kept a pretty tight secret, but we do get a little peek inside the so-called black box.
Okay, so here's the key. The system doesn't just look at obvious stuff like a team's win-loss record. Nope. It digs way deeper, analyzing 10 very specific metrics that the author found have a direct link to winning in the conference championships. Think about things that show team efficiency or maybe defensive pressure. These 10 stats are then weighted and sorted into 3 different tiers of importance, all to spit out that final prediction. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to have a cool theory on paper, but does it actually work when it counts? Has this rebuilt system really proven itself? Well, according to the author, the answer is a big yes. They took this new, super specific formula for the conference championships and tested it against the games from the last 10 years. And the result? It correctly picked the winner in 9 out of those 10 matchups. That is a pretty powerful proof of concept. But there's a little asterisk here, an important one. During that backtesting, one of the 10 predictions actually came out as a statistical tie. The numbers were just too close to call. So in that one case, the author had to step in and use their own judgment to break the tie. It's a small thing, but it shows that it's not always a completely hands-off process.
And what about in the real world this year? How's the new system doing so far in these playoffs? Well, heading into the championship games, it's sitting at a very, very solid 8 wins and just 2 losses. Not too shabby.
Which, of course, brings us right here to right now. After all that history, all that data, and all that rebuilding, what does this new and improved algorithm say about this weekend's massive games? It is time for the moment of truth. And here they are, the 2 huge matchups on deck. Over in the NFC, you've got the Seattle Seahawks battling the Los Angeles Rams. And in the AFC, it's a classic rivalry all over again. The New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. 2 games with 2 tickets to the Super Bowl on the line.
All right, first up, the NFC. After crunching all 10 of those key variables, the algorithm's prediction is in and it's pointing to the Seattle Seahawks to get the win and move on.
And now for that huge AFC rivalry game. The system has made its call. It's predicting the New England Patriots will take down the Denver Broncos and punch their ticket to the Super Bowl.
So there they are. The algorithm's picks are officially in. But the creator is also a realist. They understand that data can point you in the right direction, but it can never, ever completely get rid of the beautiful randomness of sports.
And this is a direct quote from the author, and it's so important. They are openly saying, hey, just because this thing worked great when we looked backward, there is absolutely no guarantee it's going to be perfect this year.
It's a really healthy dose of perspective that admits you just can't predict everything on game day.
But even without a guarantee for any single game, the author is still totally confident in the system's success over the long haul. The belief is that on a macro level, looking at the big picture, this data-first approach is always going to beat simple guesswork or picking with your heart.
And really, that's what this all boils down to, isn't it? It leaves us with this one big question. We can count up all the stats, we can weigh all the variables, and we can build these incredible formulas. But can a system built on pure logic ever truly fully account for a crazy catch, a last-second fumble, or just the raw power of human will? It's definitely something to think about as we all settle in to watch the game.